Have you ever felt like you just don't deserve the success that you have? Or you're going into a new space and you are doubting everything about your right to be there? Well, that's imposter syndrome. And trust me, you are not alone. I've decided to make this as my second YouTube video because as soon as I uploaded one video, I suddenly became overwhelmed with fear of what am I doing and why do people care what I have to say? Just all these things that I was just jumping way ahead of where I needed to be. I was so like chaotic in my brain that I kind of was like, I don't even know what I'm interested in anymore. I don't even know why I started this thing. And this is all after uploading one video. One video caused all of this panic. So I just stopped myself and I said, oh, hello, imposter syndrome. So yeah, that's why we're making a video about it today. I want to unpack some things and give some tips of how I'm trying to beat imposter syndrome. Hope it helps. Okay, so what is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is that inner voice telling you that you're not enough when you're actually crushing it. It's that feeling that when you walk into a space and think, why am I here amongst all these amazing artists whilst I'm drawing stickmen, forgetting that you were invited because you draw amazing stickmen. You know? Research shows that 70% of people experience imposter syndrome at some point of their life, and that's even for really successful people. It's rooted in self-doubt, and it usually shows up when you are stepping out of your comfort zone and achieving something new. So, yeah. I've definitely felt it. Starting this YouTube channel definitely had me questioning everything. But also, I've been a hairdresser for 20 years and I do know what I'm doing in that space and I'm at a senior level. But I still get these moments where my client might be telling me they love their hair, but I'm just like, no, you don't mean it. You don't mean it. You're lying to me. You don't love your hair. Even though they're like, no, I love my hair. Or you're like panicking throughout the haircut. Oh, they're going to hate it. And they turn around and say, I love it. And you're like, no, surely not. They're going to come back and they're going to realize that they were charmed by the salon or whatever. And they're going to come back and they're going to complain about it. I still get those moments and still those clients will even come back to me and every single time I'm like, they're going to find out that I can't cut hair. Any day now, they're going to be like, huh, Kayla's a really nice person, but she can't cut hair, which is just not true. And the thing is, really, it all comes from when you truly care about something. I care about my clients liking their hair. I care about doing a good job on here. And that's why imposter syndrome shows up, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's like it's actually quite nice because you're doing something. It's good to be passionate about something and it's good to care about stuff, so keeps you humble. But yeah, when you get to a point where it's like holding you back, then follow some of these steps. So tip number 1, recognize it and name it. The first step to overcoming imposter syndrome is to recognize it. Pay attention to the thoughts that are coming up, like, I am not good enough, I don't belong here, or I just got lucky. When you hear these thoughts, call them out. Literally say, that's my imposter syndrome talking. Those thoughts are not real. That is not fact. Naming it takes some of that imposter syndrome's power away. And it reminds you that these feelings are not fact. So even if you have to say it out loud, even if you have to take a moment to turn around and say, this isn't real, this is my imposter syndrome talking, this isn't what I really believe, do it. Calling it out are going to help you realize that these are not real beliefs and they are controllable. Tip number 2, reframe it. Once you recognize those negative thoughts, it's time to reframe them. Instead of I'm not qualified or I'm not ready, think I'm learning as I go and that's okay. You don't have to be perfect to show up, you just have to start. I'm trying to keep that in mind with my new journey with YouTube. I'm trying to remember that I don't have to have it all figured out right now because I'm just starting, but I do have to keep going. I do have to keep showing up. Otherwise, I'm letting imposter syndrome defeat me, which will achieve nothing. So if you want a quick exercise, try this. Write down 3 things that you've accomplished, no matter how small they are. Use them as evidence against that inner critic that's telling you that you're not good enough or you're not ready. Because you are. Okay, so tip number 3, talk about it. Imposter syndrome thrives in silence. Talking about it with a friend or a mentor or a therapist can be a game changer. You'll often find that people you admire are feeling exactly the same way. And it can really just remind you that you're not alone. And it can also help you to see your worth from an outside perspective. So I would say it out loud, and you'll find that most people feel the same way, and it would just help to validate your feelings. I had a client yesterday who is really successful in her field, and she is someone that I really look up to. I've worked with her before outside of cutting her hair and admired the way that she does what she does. And I'm like in awe of this woman. I want to be her one day because she just oozes this like power and confidence and holds her space wherever she is. And I really admire that. And I was cutting her hair yesterday, and she was telling me about, I went to this event and I just felt really like self-conscious, and I didn't know why I was there with these amazing women who have done these incredible things. And I was just like, girl. I was like, oh my God, you're fantastic. They are lucky to have you there. I cannot believe that you are telling me this right now because I admire you so much. And she was just like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I do deserve to be there. And I was like, yes, you do. Then she started telling me lovely things about myself. And I was like, oh my God, stop, because I'm going to cry and I need to cut your hair. But she started telling me all this stuff, and it was so nice. And it just made me realize that no matter how successful you are, you can still experience this thing. And I gave her a new perspective, and she gave me a new perspective. And it was beautiful. We had a great time. I think the people who usually will experience imposter syndrome are people who aren't arrogant about what they do. And that's a really beautiful thing. So think about it that way. So tip number 4. Celebrate your wins. We're so quick to dismiss our achievements, aren't we? It's like, it wasn't a big deal. Oh, it's not that good. I'll stop it, you know. But celebrate your wins. No matter how big or small, celebrate your wins. It is a way to remind yourself of your capabilities. You could start by jotting down your accomplishments in a journal, or maybe you have photos or videos of those days, documenting all the good things that you do so that you can look back on it later on and remind yourself of how you're killing it. I do film everything. I do film a lot. So I do have that stuff to go back and have a look and remind myself. But also I journal a lot, and I do need to write things down to really make it sink into my brain. So here's an exercise for you. So take out your journal and bring those achievements back to life. I like to write down what the achievement was, how I thought it was going to go versus how it went. What was I proud of myself for overcoming? What did I learn about myself? And how did it impact other people? These prompts can help you put yourself back in that moment and get back to that warm, fuzzy feeling of when you achieve something that you're proud of. So finally, we've got tip number 5. Which is do the damn thing anyway. So here's the truth. You do not have to feel 100% confident to do the thing. I read this somewhere and it blew my mind. You get confidence by doing the thing rather than needing confidence to do the thing. Does that make sense? Confidence comes after action. Like, I got confident cutting hair because I kept cutting hair. And I will only get more confident in YouTube if I keep filming and I keep writing and editing. I have to keep creating to build a solid system which will make me feel confident in my craft. And I have to keep learning to build knowledge, and knowledge gives me confidence as well. I also have to make mistakes so that I can grow from them. And I also want to make content that in a few years' time are going to give me the ick, because it will show me how far I've come. So as scary as failing is, I think the thought of holding myself back forever because I'm too scared to try is worse. So take that first step. even if you're scared, even if it's messy, because the more you show up, the quieter your imposter syndrome voice will be. So yeah, the reality is that imposter syndrome is not going to disappear overnight. But with these tips, we can at least stop it from holding us back. So remember, recognize it, reframe your thoughts, talk about it, celebrate your wins, and do the damn thing anyway. So yeah, I wish you all the luck on your journey, whatever it is. I know that I'm going to keep trying to silence that imposter syndrome, and it is going to happen. It's always going to be there. The thing is, it's always going to be there because I am just that kind of person who I overthink everything, and that's okay. But I want to be better at just making sure it doesn't get in my way. So I hope this video helped you, and drop me a message in the comments if you want to share your tips as well for how to overcome imposter syndrome. It'd be great to all learn from each other. So yeah, have a great day and I'll see you soon. Bye.